Today on Dialed In DIY, we're making a loud air horn that you can actually make with parts that you probably already have lying around the house. This quick and easy project doesn't call for much. The materials needed are really just balloons, some kind of a plastic container, and even a pen or some other kind of a tube, and a piece of PVC or other tube that's a little bit larger, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. For tools, really all you need is something to make a hole with, like a drill and a drill bit, something to cut the PVC with, a saw blade or a cutter, some tape, and some sandpaper if you have it. We're using a plastic bottle in this example as the main body for our horn, so the first thing we need to do is measure it, and then get about 4 inches longer measured out on the piece of PVC. The bottle we're using is about 8 inches long, so we're going to actually cut off a piece of PVC about 12 inches long. This particular tool, or cutter, is actually designed for PVC and is great. It cuts through pieces of PVC like this size, about 3/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch or so, even up to an inch, with relative ease. I love these graduated drill bits. They make it really easy to slowly get to the size hole that's needed when you're working on a project like this. After first pass, I'm going to test the size of PVC to see how well it fits, and we got it on the first shot. It doesn't have to be really tight, but pretty close to snug is best. Next, we're going to take the bottom off of this bottle to open it up completely. Perfect. You might have a few rough edges left over, and this is where that sandpaper comes in handy. I love these sanding pads. I think I've mentioned that before. They're padded and they make it really easy to work around soft edges and angles. I'm using a wide barrel pen for this part. This is the piece you're actually going to blow into. I like it with a threaded cap on the end because I can use that to then hold it in place into the bottle. We're going to start off by cutting it in half, and then we'll have something to work with. This rough edge is actually the part your mouth's going to hit, so you might want to get some of those rough edges off here as well, just like you did on the bottle. As you can see on the inset video, I also widened the tip of the pen with a drill bit as well. The more air you can actually get into the bottle at once, the louder the horn is going to be. Now we're going to make a hole in the side of the bottle to allow the pen tip to fit in. Actually, you don't even need the pen. I like it because it gives you a little extra distance away from the horn, but you could actually blow right through this hole and make this horn work. Okay, now that we got the hole just the size we want so the pen will fit in, we're going to take that tip, or the cap itself, and screw it onto the pen body. This is going to hold the pen body right in place against the bottle. Now we're going to push the PVC through the bottle cap and put the bottle cap back on the bottle, but don't screw it on in place. We want the PVC to rest firmly against the table, and then we're going to measure that distance, or the spot on the PVC, right against the top. Once you remove the PVC in the cap, mark the spot underneath where the cap rests against that PVC, and this is where we're going to actually try to align to. Now grab your tape, and we're going to make a few passes around right below that mark. This is actually going to serve as a little bit of a seal between the PVC pipe itself and the bottle cap, preventing air from rapidly escaping out of the bottle when you're blowing into the horn. Remember, the end that's going to be sticking out of the top of the bottle cap is going to be about 4 inches long. For now, we're just going to test the fit of the cap and the height, because we have one more thing to do before we actually attach the cap with the PVC. And that is to prepare the diaphragm that we're going to put over the bottom of the bottle. In this case, we're using a balloon. You can actually use an old rubber kitchen glove or something like that. Actually, the thicker the rubber, the better it's going to work to make the vibration to make our horn loud. In this case, we're going to use this balloon, which is pretty thick rubber balloon, and stretch it over the bottom of the bottle. You want to keep pulling it down nice and tight. If you tap on the bottom at this point, it'll sound a little bit like a drum, and that's exactly how you want it. Now, just take a couple rubber bands and wrap them around the end of the bottle, and that way it'll hold the balloon in place. If it ever loosens up, you can just pull the balloon a little tight again. And there you have it. Now, we can actually put the cap back in with the piece of PVC. As you screw the cap into place, you're going to notice the balloon start to bulge against the bottom. That's exactly how we want it, and that's why we wanted to make sure this piece of PVC was a little bit longer than the actual bottle was itself. Let's take it for a test ride. Play with the positioning of the PVC a little bit and also pull on the balloon a little bit to make it tighter. You can actually get a louder sound and change the sound that way. In fact, you can actually try a different diameter of PVC. In this case, I went to 3/4 inch and made a bigger hole to blow into. This makes everything louder and deeper in sound. For the sake of the video and your speakers, I actually turned the decibels down in the playback on this because it was quite loud and made a really uncomfortable vibrating sound in the speakers. Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more dialed in DIY to come.